Cameroon National Party. I agree with Comrade Lisengede in that wonderful and powerful articulation of our history. However, where we disagree is when, after making that great, that powerful analogy, he still wants us to stay with Cameroon in the reference he makes with Scotland, Wales, forming up the United Kingdom. But it is great that he is here with me. Let me hear the rationale behind us staying with Cameroon. Comrade, it's great to have you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chris. It's a pleasure to be on your program for the first time.
Wonderful, yes.
I will start by making a correction rather.
Okay.
I don't use that word. I've never used the word one Cameroon or whatsoever. I've never used it in my life. And I have a copy of my
You said in that monologue that we want to stay. That is the word. Stay with Cameroon. But and then you quoted the instance of Scotland, Wales, and so on, Ireland, living with the UN and still having their governments and still doing everything by themselves, which we agree. My problem is, haven't we gone past that moment in Cameroon? Because we asked and asked and asked for a return to 1961. Cameroon took arms, declared war against us for merely asking. But I'll give you the opportunity to respond.
I follow you with Nina. Nina used the word, the lady you were talking to, mandates. I always believe in mandates. I always avoid certain arguments because as Anglophones, people think we are a political party. I have my opinion and I have a manifesto. I wrote this book. This book was about more than 25 years ago. In chapter 4, I said what? The last alternative, that's the title of my book. Introduction, the referendum question, the three questions, the Anglo-skeptic, the moderate Anglophone, and the extreme Anglophile. That's more than 25 years ago. I believe when I'm talking, give other Anglophones their chances. And for my video, what I was saying there, I want to make it, people have been arguing, oh, we never had independence or what. I want to make it clear on that video that you don't need to be independent in order to be a country.
That makes sense.
British Cameroon was a country and it has been annexed. That's a fact. And if you want to build a house, you start from the foundation. When you start talk about independence, that's sealing the roofs. So I've studied Chamfred in Northern Ireland. I've studied Quebec. I've studied Flemish people in other part of in Belgium. So sometimes I keep my card close to my chest. I want the foundation. I want to establish that we were a country. That's the foundation.
And that is a good point because lately, hold on there, that's a very good point because lately you hear people asking, you call yourself a country and you want to go back to that country. Where were you a country in the first place? I've heard that question recently again and again, and it is being propagated by surrogates of La Republique du Cameroun. Give them that answer, please. When did we become a country that you are talking about now? It is a piece of education that I like everyone on ground zero to get.
Like I will quote my constitutional lecturer in Guakele, Jean-Marie, who was in the constitutional community, Mr. Bia. He taught us in Guakele, l'État, a state. What's a state? A political authority, a territory, and a population. So, former British Cameroon became a country before around 1954 when Dr. Endeley was a prime minister. La Republique du Cameroun became a country when President Ahidjo became a prime minister. So the point is, people think that a country needs to be independent. I keep on saying, no, a country does not need to be independent. You need these three components. That's a political authority, which political authority, a prime minister, a national assembly, a house of chiefs, then you have a population and international boundary. That was a country. So that's why I always quote the United Kingdom. I keep on telling people we should go step by step. That's how I look at my thing. If I come and say, oh, I want a referendum, they will say you want to secede. They should first of all accept that we were a country. We were a country. People keep on saying, I've had this discussion with some professors in Cameroon. They say reunification of Cameroon. I say, how can you reunify something that was not existing?
Exactly. I have had to argue to contend with some people on that point where they use the word reunification. And they do that all the time. These our fake historians like the Professor Ngongos in Boyan. They like to use the word reunification as if there was unification in the first place.
Let's talk about us. Logically, when somebody is not on a platform, I don't talk about like Professor Ngongo. But let me make this clear. When you say reunification, it means that thing was existing. That's what reunification means. And what Rio dos Cameroons was what? A Portuguese slave sugar plantation. So when you say reunification, do you want to reunite that slave plantation? When they say reunification, Germany was a country. They partitioned it. A German man was the president of that country. And the reunification, yes, you can talk about Germany. Poland too was a country. They partitioned it. Reunification. But we have never been a country. A slave plantation was not a country. A UN trusteeship was not a country. The German signing treaty with Aqua was not a country. We became a country when Dr. Endeley became Prime Minister of former British Cameroon. It was a country. It's a fact. And you see, most people, they don't want to have this debate with us because I will use the word, because I keep on saying, annexation is an English word. It's not mungaka, it's nothing. And it is clear, it's an acquisition of another territory that at the expense of another. We have two states. So at the end of the day, from my video, I made it clear on my video there that why is it that all the institutions we are using in Cameroon were inherited from France? And now, yes, the money, everything. When did we agree that let's use this money or let's use this institution? So everything that we are using in military tribunal, they inherited it from France. And that is clear annexation. Mr. Bia made it clear. We have been assimilated. Assimilation just be imposing one's legal administrative system on the other person. That's assimilation. And we don't want to have this debate. And it's a debate that these people are just whining time. At the end of the day, it's a fact. I was in the national dialogue. There's this guy, Yanni Kawakawa. He came and made me that they are saying that they will bribe him, give him money. He should not talk about federalism. I don't know why we are afraid of a debate in our country. So it's very dangerous. I know the government of Cameroon. I've studied them for a long time.
Would Kawa say was bribing him not to talk about, mention federalism?
It's a government officials there inside the national dialogue. He came, he approached me, and I talk about it on Equinox television. So you see, these people, they are not, I know them. Sometimes I look at it. Sometimes some of you call yourself Ambazonia. I don't want to give them a chance to be arguing something that is minute. I make sure that I use British Cameroon so they cannot say we were not British Cameroon. I do it deliberately. But when you go now, they will try to be playing to the gallery. When you call yourself Ambazonia, I do it deliberately. British Cameroon, that was our name. So they will not argue. We should focus on the point. I cannot get you. I'm not getting you.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Yeah, but I'm saying that when you, I hope you are not indicting Ambazonians because we have good reasons why we call ourselves Ambazonians. When we declare ourselves a country that is different from Cameroon, we cannot still call ourselves Cameroonians. But when you call yourself British Southern Cameroonians, you are still identifying yourself with Cameroon, which is why you are comparing what the system that obtains in Great Britain to what Cameroon should have done. You are essentially saying we should stay in Cameroon, but Cameroon should give us our independence, our liberty to do our own thing, as the Scottish the Northern Irish, the Wales, they're able to do. But we are saying no, we are gone, which is why we call ourselves Amazonians. Doesn't that make sense?
My problem, I made this statement earlier. I said, look, if you want to build a house, you start from the foundation. When you look at Northern Ireland, they had, some people choose to fight, they call them IRA. Some people choose to have political party. When they win seats, they don't come to Westminster in London. So you go everywhere. That's how you want self-rule first. To me, the argument, whether somebody's I'm a federalist, it's not important. If you want, let me say you want to separate. Do you know why the government of Cameroon is scared of federalism? It's a step to separation or independence. That is why they don't want it. So no, if you want something, you start climbing the step. You don't start from the roof. You start from the foundation. When they give you their fake, how do you call it? Is it regional assembly? When they give it to you, take it. It's nothing. They keep on taking it. You're climbing and you're going. And one day you achieve your aim.
What are you doing with a regional assembly? What are you doing with? I mean, for 2 years, they gave them regional assemblies from their so-called grand national dialogue. And I think we were discussing last night, and you mentioned the fact that for over 2 years now, the regional assemblies cannot even submit projects to Yaoundé because there is no budget for any project. So what are they? What do they use?
My point is, put yourself in a position of power. The CPDM government, the CNU rebranded CPDM, they are in power. They are dictators. And to me, some of you, I know people will say I'm blonde. I'm always blonde. You call them government. When you see the amount of people that Mr. Biya put them in prison, it's a criminal syndicate, it's not a government. So when you want to fight those type of people, you have to understand how to fight them. And at the end of the day, you have to look. It's our case is clear, they know that. But what do you expect? Tell me one dictator on earth, whether it was Mobutu or whether it was Stanley or Lenin, who will just come and give you power like that. Dictators don't give you power. So there are different ways that people fight. Our focus, to me, especially the Anglophones, who want to have equal status, the focus to me on Anglophones, you should look at what we have in common. We don't need to agree on everything as Anglophones. But at the end of the day, if you see most Anglophones, they are fighting for leadership. It's not about leadership. You fight for our people, our children, our children's children. One day we're not going to be alive. And why we are suffering today is because our parents, they made what happened to happen today. It's not as if La Republique came and conquered us. What did they do? When they look at intelligent people like Dr. Endeley and Mr. Joa, they kick them out. They look for some people who want position, they put them there, and they have to do what they did. So sometimes, I, as an Anglophone, I want us to look at this self-marginalization. You take responsibility by looking at your fault, and we make sure when we want to put people there, we put people who know what to stand, what will fight for us and stand. I'll tell you something.
If I may stop you there and ask you, how would you do that? For 61 years joining La Republique du Cameroun, we've not been able to do that because anytime you send somebody there, they are either manipulated or they are bought over. Now, when you go back to La Republique and say, let's return to the status of 1961, they say, as you said, they want to secede. So, how do you get your way in the way you are articulating here?
How do you get your way? British Cameroon National Party. We have never had a minor party in Cameroon that focuses only in Northwest and Southwest. SDF was a national party, was fighting to become president of Cameroon.
So how do you live in the diaspora and you have a party in the Northwest and Southwest? Who is running it?
Listen, a party's ideology is not about me. It's an ideology. We have a manifesto and whatsoever.
Right, but then you also want to win elections to be relevant. If you form a party, you live in the diaspora, how do you win elections? And how relevant do you become?
Mr. Chris, I don't do politics of personality cult. I was in Cameroon since after the National Dialogue. I've been there several times. I have people on the ground. And at the end of the day, it is difficult to tell the Anglophone CPDM militants, the Anglophone CPDM militants, they believe in CPDM. You're asking them to withdraw. How do you do that? Me and you, let's take that seat. And we don't believe in CPDM manifesto. If we take it, then we stand a chance that we say, no, we are not going to Yaoundé. The Irish parties, Sinn Féin, when they win seats, they say they are not coming to London. We have to let you need self-rule first. Whether you want something one day, maybe you need a referendum. But under what mandate? Me and you, we don't have that mandate.
But then you know that you and I, we cannot win any elections in that country, even in our own part of the country, for as long as the Republic remains in charge. You know, I mean, for a government that fake up election observers to come and give a false report of an election, and you think you can go there, form a political party, and become the leader of that country, so you can then set it into pieces? You think they will allow you to do that?
Listen, what we have been trying is to be the president of the Cameroons, la Republique du Cameroun. That's what we have been doing all along since 1960. I want to be president. But look, I'll tell you, Moran Jolly Tumbe won some seats in the English part of Cameroon. Bello Buba won it. Fundi SDF won it. You can win seats. But when you're looking at the presidency of Cameroon, it's another level. Why? How do you call this guy? This guy recently who said that Union for Change under Fundi won the election, they will refuse to give it. When you're going for that one, you won't get it. When we start having seats, my problem is I'm not for any quick fix. One member of parliament is enough.
It doesn't appear like you realize that the reality doesn't work for anybody who speaks English. Fundi that you are quoting, yes, he got, I think, the first legislative elections in 1991 or 92, he had 78 seats. 78 seats. What was he able to do with it? Zero. The next election, they went down to, I think, 48 or 40. What was he able to do with it? Zero. You are talking of a situation where no matter what, you will remain in the minority, and when they bring their bills to the table, you are outvoted.
Mr. Chris, Fundi was national, it's a national party. British Cameroon National Party is a minor party for Northwest and Southwest.
But you have to have your own country. You have to have the Southern Cameroon first to form political parties that are restricted to the Southern Cameroons, as it is meaningless.
Cameroon Constitution, you can create a political party in Cameroon Constitution. And once that you create that political party, Mr. Chris, listen, it doesn't matter whether it's one seat. They say a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. The problem with us, we are too ambitious that we are not in power. And nobody, let me tell you, even when Samuel Doe was in the president of Liberia, there was war even inside the capital. Do you know what? They could not even remove him from power until they arranged that he should meet somewhere and they killed him. So we are not getting closer to the. I heard you were talking within why the European Union cannot bring sanctions. Mr. Chris, I do my assignment. I do my research very well. The European Union is backed by who? Glencoe, Savannah Energy. These are the business people sponsoring them. They will never say anything. I don't rely on these Western people. Why? Why do you think when there was slavery? Why do you think there was apartheid? Why do you think there was colonization? It's about using our natural resources. So I'm not in that position. I don't rely on any person. But how do you do that? Doing it is that start getting seats in the parliament. You can get it. People have done it before us. You are talking, there's a difference between
the problem, comrade. The problem is, yes, you get seats in parliament. Where do they lead you to? Fundi had seats.
Don't go to Yaoundé.
Come to have seats. Yeah, that was what you want to do it in the Southern Cameroons or Amazonia, but you have to have it first.
No, when you win the seat, it's a protest. Sinn Féin, IRA, these people, they were winning seats. They don't come to the parliament. They don't swear to the Queen. They have been doing that for a long time, and today they have power sharing agreement. The first minister today in the history of Northern Ireland is somebody from this Sinn Féin, this Irish Republican Army. That's for the first time in the history. And in 10 years' time, they'll be having a referendum. As I say, you cannot put the roof of a house without starting from the foundation. That's what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, there's a way of doing things. We want a referendum. The CPGM will tell you that they want absolute majority. Why are they going to give you a referendum? So you have to start winning some seats. You have to put yourself in a position of power. Having 1 or 2 members of parliament is a position of power. Referendum, Scottish National, how do you call it? IRA, this IRA in Northern Ireland, Sinn Féin political party. They say in 10 years' time, we're going to ask for a referendum. Why do you think they cannot ask it now since they have a first minister? You plan those things. It takes time. The problem with us Anglophones, we like knee-jerk reaction, one quick fix. We have a result today. We talk about 1960, we have been doing this. I was not born in 1960. I was not there. What are we doing today? In South Africa, when they were fighting, what was the cause? They want to stop the apartheid government, minority ruling them. You have a lot of people, Chris Hani, all these people for Communist Party. You have Sabokwe for Pan-African Congress. You have ANC. You have the Mandela, their ANC. And you have different people with different political party, but they set their sight on what to win. That is how you do certain things. What is my goal? What do we want to achieve? That is how.
Comrade, I think the mistake you are making, you are comparing apples and oranges. In Scotland, they rule themselves. They can create their political parties to advance local issues. In England, in London, you mentioned South Africa. South Africa was fighting for majority rule, and so they had the ANC was right to be there to fight that. Our struggle is not about having representation in Yaoundé. Our war is about pulling out of the Yaoundé system, and you have rightly very much articulated exactly what has to be done, what should be done. The reality is you cannot do those things within one Cameroon. And Cameroon is not ready to cooperate with you. The only language that they will come to understand with time is the language of violence. Violence, you heard me say here that they are beginning to realize that arms, military force, isn't going to solve this problem. And I've heard that recently a lot of times, and they are looking for a solution. Why don't you think that we pressurize them? We push money onto the ground. We put equipment into the hands of those who want to force their hands. Get them to the negotiation table and say to them, Ambazonia, the Southern Cameroons, as you call it, would want to go back to what Endeley and Foncha had in 1950, 54, all the way to 61. I think that is the only time what you are articulating can be applied on the ground. You go and form a political party in Boya, in Baminda, or anywhere within our territory, and you think that you don't need to go to Yaoundé because you want to champion the affairs of the local people. You are essentially chasing after the wind because you will go nowhere. Every politician in that country looks towards Yaoundé because that is where the money is. They don't do that to empower the community. They do that to get money for themselves. So if we have to be effective, I think we should think about separating the two territories first, and then with the assurance that we have some control within the territory, we can begin to launch political parties like yours that will really represent the wishes of the people to tell Cameroon, we are no longer part of you. How do you think about that?
I've answered your question. I keep on saying, I've given you, I'll use Northern Ireland. You had Sinn Féin, it was a political party. They were standing for election, they were winning seats. You have IRA, which was, they used to call them terrorists or whatsoever. So those who want to fight, they have the capability. They should lead and fight. Those of us who want political party, we should be taking the seat. Nobody is saying that I don't have power. I don't believe in using violence, because to me, most of the people I can see, I understand what's going on in former British Cameroon. Who are they fighting? They kill our people. We kill ourselves. I see this group go and kill this, or I don't want to call their name, you know them. They kill each other.
That is what you are talking about. Is a surrender mentality, is a defeatist mentality. Remember, you quoted South Africa here. Why was Mandela in jail for 27 years? The only reason they kept him in jail for 27 years is because they wanted him to reject violence. He said he will never reject violence for as long as the apartheid regime continue to kill the blacks. Why do you think that we are killing our own people? Yeah, there are good people out there who do that. But the greater cause is that we want freedom. And when freedom comes, forget about who has been killed or not killed. Nobody will remember that.
Chris, if I believe in armed conflict, you saw me, I was sleeping in front of the Cameroon embassy, sleeping there, fighting for what I believe in. I don't do things that if I believe in war, I would have been in Cameroon leading it. I don't want people who sit armchair critics. We talk about war, we are abroad. If I believe it, I will lead in the war in Cameroon.
No, you're making this thing. I don't think you are the type of person who will even believe in it. Because listen, if you believe in it, not everybody has to be at the war front, you know that. Some people have to be somewhere looking for the money. Let me give you good examples. In South Africa, apartheid struggle. The struggle in Zimbabwe, Namibia. Guess where some of the people were getting the money from? They were in Libya, they were in Ghana, they were in Cuba, where they were getting the money, forwarding it to where action was taking place. So no, the idea that armchair people are fomenting war, it has always been like that. Some people have to do that part of the sport, that part of the job.
The solution you're proposing is a solution that the 1960 solution cannot be used in 2024. You saw what is happening in Gaza. If you want that, they should slaughter you. They will slaughter all of us, and these Western people, they will take our land. If you think that the war is out of fashion, let me tell you. So if you think that we can...
No, if war was out of fashion, you will not have coup d'etats in Mali, in Guinea, in Burkina Faso. You will not have wars in Ukraine. You will not have it in the Middle East, comrade. Sometimes war is the only solution. Like in the case in Cameroon. War is the only solution where you have a belligerent and intransigent state like Cameroon. War becomes the only solution. Why do you think Cameroon is not going to sit down at the negotiation table to talk with those who are carrying guns?
When I was in CPC Bali, René Zengele, the then Minister of National Education, he wanted to assimilate our education. I was a boy or a child. We walked from CPC, but it came to Bamenda, stopped all school, and they stopped it. It was not war. When we won GCE board, we stood and protested, and then they stopped it. It was not war. When we won multi-parties in national conference, tripartite, we walked and did this. It was not war. So I don't see what you can achieve through war. I can give you my achievement.
So why did the lawyers, the teachers, the students protest of 2016 not yield the result? If it had done so, we wouldn't be here today. It didn't work, isn't it? So that's why I'm saying there comes a moment where only war becomes the solution. You went to your own day. Why did the Grand National Dialogue not stop the war? It couldn't, because we have a belligerent government that is not ready to listen to anybody. So no, I think war sometimes is the only solution.
Do you think they want to? What's the solution of war? What has the war given us? What have we gained from that?
The solution of war is mediation, negotiation.
I made this long ago, and people think I was crazy. I said, La Republique does not negotiate. I made this long ago. Do you know something? You have to understand a person before you want to negotiate. If genuinely we want war, people who want war, they should be heading to Yaoundé. They should go there and overthrow Biya's government. Then maybe things will change.
No, the people who want war, they are actually paying for it, and some are carrying the guns. That is exactly what they need to do, and they are doing it. Can we stay in the...
I made my point, Chris. We have been annexed. That's my position. Okay.
Correct. That we agree. That we agree. We have been annexed, and we will use war to get out of annexation. Hold it in there, comrade. Let me get to the phone line. Let's open the phone lines and hear what our listeners have to say. I will take a brief break out, and when I come back, the phone line will be on your screen, and you can call in and make a contribution. Ask me or